You're watching Cable 2.
Good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. We will have Curriculum Committee first. I'll call this meeting of the Curriculum Committee to order. We have an approval of the agenda. Oh, excuse me, I will. The members of the Curriculum Committee are myself, Leah Crowley, Deanna Kaplan, Elizabeth Mottsinger, and Alex Bohannon. Mr. Sherrill, is Ms. Mottsinger virtual? She was planning to be tonight. Now, yeah, Ms. Mottsinger, I don't know whether she was coming to curriculum or not, but I know she's going to be virtual for the meeting. Okay. All right, good. Okay, well, so we'll be without Ms. Mottsinger. So, approval of the agenda? Thank you. Mr. Bohannon, second. Ms. Crowley, okay. Thank you. Discussion items. Our first discussion item is coaching in Winston-Salem for South County Schools. Nicolette Grant.
Good evening, Chair Kaplan, Vice Chair Calvert Hayes, board members, and Superintendent Ms. McManus. I just want to give you an update on the coaching framework and the coaching work in our district. You're familiar with our framework for teaching and learning that was developed last year, and we've been before the board several times to talk about the importance of rigorous curriculum. We thank you for supporting our textbook adoption, as well as our digital resource adoption that we purchased through ESSER, as well as your understanding and support of our unit plan organizers, or UPOs, that the teachers are using. Tonight I wanted to just share a little bit more about our high quality professional development and coaching, because we know that we must invest in our teachers if they are to invest in our children. And so we also want to thank you for the revision of Policy 4141 that increased the stipend pay for our teachers, valuing their time, their expertise, and their commitment to continued learning. So our coaching framework supports our strategic plan goal 4, which is related to recruiting and retaining high quality, effective, and diverse workforce. Again, we must invest in our teachers. They are our most valuable assets. And that also includes investing in our teacher assistants. And we're excited that we can continue to offer stipends to our teacher assistants who want to participate in professional development on our teacher work days, our RC days and RS days. Teacher turnover harms student achievement. We have to do everything we can in Winston-Salem to support our teachers and to help them to grow and to make this a great place to work and to learn and to ensure that they stay with us. Our students need them to stay with us. And so having a mentor or a coach or some support will help to improve our retention. And we believe that our teachers benefit from having thought partners, somebody to be in the room with them, to give them strategies, to talk through resources and assessments and help them to grow as teachers. So as we think about coaches in Winston-Salem, we want to make sure that we expand the definition of a coach. We do have those personnel in our district that are listed as instructional coaches by title. We also have social emotional learning coaches this year, but we also have several other staff members in our district that serve as coaches.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Nareni Martínez, gerente en la participación de padres de aquí de las escuelas de Winston-Salem. Estoy muy contenta que nos acompañe el día de hoy, ya que le traigo información muy relevante aquí en su show Edúcate y Triunfa. Recuerde Cada miércoles a las 11 de la mañana les traemos información muy importante de las escuelas. Tengo invitados muy especiales conmigo el día de hoy. Tengo al equipo CARES.
Environment in our district where we're open to coaching, we receive, we recognize and value the benefit of reflecting with partners. So within our coaching framework, it should be collaborative and responsive, ongoing and job embedded, actionable and timely. It should be content and curriculum based. We should be focusing on high leverage strategies, using instructional skills and practices that are grounded in research, that we have needs-based and differentiated support, and that we guide reflective thinking and professional development. And this framework you'll find within our literacy framework that was adopted as our K-12 literacy framework. And so what I want our public to know and our teachers to know and parents, teaching is rocket science. Teaching is difficult. It takes skilled expertise. We want to value our teachers' time, value their expertise, value them as leaders. The work that they do is instrumental. The work that they do is impactful, and it's difficult. And oftentimes having a thought partner or a coach or a colleague or a confidant is important to helping our teachers feel more successful in the classroom and to remain in the classroom. And so what we're going to share right now is a short little video from some of our coaches in our district just talking about the benefits of coaching.
Coaching is a universal language of change and learning. When I read this quote published by CNN, I thought to myself, this is one of the most accurate descriptions of coaching that I have ever read.
When I was a teacher, I was coached, and it helped me to become a better teacher, helped me to go through my national boards, and then I became a coach for new teachers and as a literacy facilitator.
I think coaching is really important for our leaders and aspiring leaders in the district. It can be done in a more informal way with your peers where you share your thoughts and concerns.
My coach helps me turn a difficult and unfamiliar situation into an improvement. Let's face it, in our line of work, no day's ever the same. We all need someone that helps us identify our strengths and then use those strengths to build upon our weaknesses.
And when I think about what a coach has meant to me, I go all the way back to my childhood. See, growing up, I played multiple sports, and my coaches helped me to build the skills to really excel in the game.
I enjoy coaching others because it gives me a chance to give something back to the profession that has done so much for my family.
I enjoy coaching others because it gives me an opportunity to take my 20 plus years of successes and failures and help other people to share in those successes and hopefully avoid those failures.
I enjoy coaching others because it allows me the opportunity to not only work with amazing teachers to learn from them, but it also still allows me that student connection, that shared vision that we all have.
I enjoy coaching because I work with an incredible group of educators impacting change and promoting growth within our district.
So coaching to me is definitely going to be based on collaboration, on joining together of two or more minds that are problem-posing together. Because we have two minds that are problematizing, that means we're naming problems, we're also looking for solutions in different ways.
Brad Oliver was my coach, and he taught me so much about coaching, and through that I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about how to communicate with other teachers.
I believe through helping others, we all can become better. I know that coaching has made me become more reflective in my practice and learn a lot from those teachers who I have coached.
We inspire each other with new ways of thinking. We share ideas to help each other problem solve. We also are very respectful of each other's ideas.
Tammy, you and I are also collaborators. We are active listeners, and we trust each other's input.
Through the coaching opportunities that they have taken the time to talk with me, this transition in my career has been relatively stress-free.
And that last video, Leah Leonard just joined our district, so she'll be stressed later on, but she just got here. But just want to thank all of the members of our district who participated in this video. You'll see some of us just use our cell phones, and we just wanted to get a quick little video just talking about the benefits of coaching. And then finally, I just want to introduce Chris Anderson, who's one of our elementary literacy instructional coaches. She had the pleasure of being with us last week as the Department of Public Instruction visited Bolton Elementary to highlight the work that they are doing. Bolton was one of the schools featured, but our district as a whole is featured for being a trailblazer and leader in the Cohort 1 letters training. And so thanks to our teachers, our principals, our coaches within the district, Winston-Salem is really doing a great job of highlighting the work here. So I just wanted Chris to just mention a few things about what she's doing to support Bolton.
Good evening. As Ms. Grant said, I am Kristen Anderson, and I am the district elementary ELA coach that serves Bolton Elementary School, and it is my honor to be their literacy coach. Dr. Frazier and Mrs. McBride have worked diligently to create a culture for teaching and learning, and it occurs every day in every classroom. As their coach, I have supported teachers in lesson planning, observation feedback cycles, unpacking standards, analyzing data, and using data to inform instructional decisions. Dr. Frazier took the time before the school year began to work with me to learn how teachers use Wonders and to become familiar with the platform. Dr. Frazier, Mrs. McBride, and I communicate on a weekly basis to discuss trends they observe when doing classroom walkthroughs and observations, and we decide and discuss next steps based on that data. As a coach, I can only be as great and as impactful as the building leader allows, and Dr. Frazier has created the atmosphere and culture to allow that to happen. Bolton has a building full of rock star teachers and support staff, and they are definitely on the move.
So thank you for letting us present tonight. We just wanted to share one of the other strong components of our framework for teaching and learning. Coaching and investing in our teachers is a vital, important part of the success of our district, and we thank you for all your support in approving our coaching PD and our coaches through ESSER. Do you have any questions for us about this update? And there's no ask for any money right now, just an update.
Any questions? Okay. Nicolette, I just have one follow-up, and I know you probably don't want to have me ask this, but you all have been so diligent about trying to get teachers with the letters training, and I know that has been a real struggle, I might say. Mm-hmm. Have y'all been able to find any resolution to that? Or I know you guys have done yeoman's work on trying to work that out from a state standpoint, and I'm just interested in any update you could give us.
It still creates a bit of a challenge, but we are thankful for the opportunity that our teachers are being afforded through the letters training. Creating the logistics around getting enough sessions for teachers during the day is still a challenge because we are not the ones providing the training. It's an outside provider providing it, but we continue to ask for more sessions during the day. Our team is going back to the table and looking at the possibility of increasing the stipends to the teachers for pay, and once I take that to Ms. McManus for approval, we'll be able to share that. But right now, we are limited to the number of trainers that they can provide for us during the days that are our RC days and our S days. And we can't pull them during the day because we don't have enough substitutes to pull during a teaching day.
Sure, I understand that. And I would imagine that other systems are probably having the same struggles that we're having, because I'm sure a lot of us have RS days on the same day. So.
They may have them on different days, but some districts are going back to their calendars and adding early release days this year. Others haven't started yet because they may be in cohort 2 or cohort 3. So we've been advising them on what to do, learning from our experiences so that they can try to be proactive in the changes that they make. And I know when we bring the calendar forth, we'll have some things for next year as adjustments as well.
Right. Well, I just want to say thank y'all for trying to work this out, because I know the teachers really want it. I can tell that, but thank you for your work in that. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Next, we have the contracts with the School Health Alliance and the National Council for Mental Well-Being. Dr. Corliss Thompson-Drew.
Good evening, board, chair members, committee members, and Dr. Ms. McManus. So I have 2 items to discuss with you. The first one is the School Health Alliance contract. As you may be aware, the School Health Alliance has been in partnership with the district since about the late 90s, 1999. They provide comprehensive health services for our students at their comprehensive centers and their school sites. So this is a contract renewal of the amount of $115,000 for 2 nurse practitioners. This would allow them to continue their comprehensive school-based services that they provide. And I will say, in addition to the comprehensive services that they do provide, they have been instrumental in terms of using their assessment around screening to identify students who have risks. So they have a lot of risk data available. And they also make their reports to the Department of Health and Human Services in terms of providing those services. Without the School Health Alliance, many of our students will not be able to receive these services. Approximately 35% of the students served
In November, WSFCS recognizes National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. We also celebrate National Native American Heritage Month. And this year, National School Psychologist Week, also in November, has a very special meaning.
Good morning!
While we celebrate every school psychologist in our district, we would like to throw the spotlight on one that is being honored at the state level. Amber Gibson has received the 2021 North Carolina School Psychology Association's Practitioner of the Year Award. She was nominated by a former colleague who also works as a school psychologist. Amber has worked as a school psychologist for 12 years. For the past 3 years, we've been fortunate to have her working with students at Ward Elementary, Clemens Middle School, and West Forsyth High School. Congratulations to Amber Gibson on an outstanding achievement. We are proud of the difference you make for our students.
I love what I do, and I love making a difference in a child's life. And it just was a culmination of everything that I have gone through to be a school psychologist. To get to where I am today is just an honor to see that the work that I do being recognized at the state level.
Congratulations. And, where these services are being provided, and just looking at the need and wondering, I can't help but think that there are other schools that would need these services.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I have here and could share with you later on, certainly a PowerPoint provided by Dr. Daniel, who is the executive director, that shows where the schools are concentrated. So we have North Forsyth, Mineral Springs Elementary and Middle. We have Ashley Academy, Petrie just came on this year, Winston-Salem Prep. Those are the locations for our comprehensive school-based centers. We also have mobile units, Cook Elementary, West Forsyth, Carver, Parkland, Haynes Middle, and this year we've added the Career Center. But I can provide this information to you as a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I was
so
just
you have
curious
more information.
well, we have the list of schools. I was just wondering how those schools were determined. Is it a need-based determination?
I will
or
have
is
to
it more
get that
geographical?
information from Dr. Daniel and have that provided to you as well.
Okay.
Again, this started, I actually came on board in 2000, which was the year after this. And this was something that was really big for the district. One of my other colleagues and I actually facilitated writing a paper around the expansion of school health centers, which is pretty new. I was supposed it would have something to do with the need in those areas, but I don't want to misspeak, so I'll make sure I get Stephanie to share that information so you would have that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about School Health Alliance?
So the 5 licensed behavioral health providers, will those be at certain locations, or will they be throughout the whole system, or how will those be utilized?
Well, the proposed is, since we have 5 areas, our district is divided into 5 areas, is that they would be located in those areas.
Okay.
Right, and then can work with the other providers that are providing services there. So that was the thought, to have each one of them in each area.
Okay, good. And so
Right,
they will just stay and be the
in
one
that
person
area, right? And they'll be
instead of-
pretty much
okay.
mobile. because it's just one person in the area, so they
Right.
will have cases within that area and go from site to site.
But they won't rotate from, I mean, I guess I'm trying to look at the relationship piece of it, so they will just be in their area to develop relationships with those schools and those, okay.
Yes.
Good.
And a piece of that also is making sure that we're coordinating with the behavioral and mental health services that we have coming out of student services. So Dr. Daniel and I already work very closely together. We hope one day to hire a mental health program services coordinator, and that person will then collaborate more closely with Dr. Daniel and those health providers.
Good. I do remember whenever Mineral Springs was built, whenever the new media center for the two schools and all that, that was a big part of the plan to actually provide that, that school, that health center there. I mean, it was a part of the building grounds. So I know we did that a couple of other places, I think, too, as well.
Yes, the Bulldog Center was the first one. That's what they call that one, and we've added others since then. Yes, yes, ma'am.
And is this, could you tell me, I mean, is this a 40-hour type job, or?
Yes, it will be a full-time 40 hours, right, so regular work. It's not like typically we would see, might see in a clinical setting or something like that, but they're expected to be full-time employees of the School Health Alliance.
Right.
So, like our nurse practitioners are full-time employees of the School Health Alliance.
Is this coming out of ESSER funds, or is this, okay?
ESSER funds, yes.
Thank you.
Trying to spend those dollars.
Any other questions?
Any other question of the School Health Alliance? Okay, so I'll move on to the other item, and that is mental health first aid certified instructor trainer. We are looking at an agreement with the National Council for Mental Health Wellbeing, National Council, also known as National Council for Behavioral Health. What they do is they provide training to instructors in youth mental health first aid and adult mental health first aid, but we're just looking at youth mental health first aid. And so why do we want to do this? Well, there's a great stigma around mental health. There's not a lot of information and resources. So the role of the instructor once they become certified is to actually teach the course. So the training for the instructors is a 3-day virtual training. Right now, because of COVID, they're not going on site. Ordinarily, they would be on site. But it's virtual training, it's self-paced coursework. They have instruction on facilitating the actual curriculum, which is a national curriculum, and it's very specific. There is a written exam that the instructors will have to pass, and they're also going to have to do a presentation evaluation, right, before they're certified. We anticipate training about 10 student services staff members. So our director of nursing, our director of social work, we have some counselors, some social workers, and psychologists. I've been a trainer for the last 5 years. I'm the only one left in the district. So it would be really nice if we could have other trainers. We do want to increase our capacity, really and truly, to increase the capacity. Having trained folks in mental health first aid means that we can then train our staff to be able to recognize kids who are in mental distress or struggling with substance abuse issues. And then we teach them a 5-step action plan for what do you do to provide that support. It's like first aid. Many of us have taken the first aid course, right? You're not being trained to be a doctor. What you're trained to do is to recognize signs and symptoms, render first aid until the professionals get there. So it's the same thing. Our training dates are February 15th, 16th, and 17th of 2022, and program cost is $26,000. That includes program management, the technical assistance, and all the trainer fees are included in that. One of the stipulations is that once folks are trained as certified instructors, they're required to do at least 3 trainings per year for their anniversary year. So if they're trained in February and they're certified, by February of 2023, they should have completed 3. Again, the increased capacity for us is if you have these many people, we can train more of our staff. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
The only question that I have is how can we get this out to parents and maybe to our newspaper staffs? Because, I mean, this is just wonderful what's going on. And when we look at our kids, so many don't get this at home.
Mhm.
So I just wonder how we could, publicize this more as to what our school is doing, because nothing could be better than
You mean, how can we get out the training, or just what we're doing around this?
what we're doing.
We're doing around this.
In this school for our kids for mental health.
Well, I'll leave that to the people in marketing and communications, but I have lots of information to share. But I think, yes, we do need to publicize what we're doing. I think, speaking from the student services and certainly a mental health professional standpoint, I think it's important for us to know and understand that learning will not occur the way we want it to occur unless we address these things with our kids, right? And we also need to address them with our staff. So I like to think about, and I like to say, when we think of social emotional learning, that's like the good soil, right? I found out when I moved to the South, a lot of people are like really into gardening. I'm not. I have plants, but I'm not into gardening. So you have to have, SEL is that good soil, right? And if we train people and we help them develop those competencies, then we can do those other things, like we can do restorative practices, we can do academic supports. But the soil that we have to cultivate are those competencies. So I'm all for advertising and pushing out messaging about what we are doing, but we really need to be doing it, right? And making sure that we're increasing the capacity for staff and others to do the work with our students.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, and thank you for what you do. I know it's been a challenging year for you with all of the mental health issues that we've had due to the pandemic and things. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we have one action item to consider approval of the School Health Alliance.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Mr. Bohannon, okay. All those committee members in favor? All right. Passes. Thank you. That concludes the curriculum committee.
Thank you very much. Is Board Member Bramer on the call? Not yet. Board Member Crowley, would you like to take over?
Sure. Okay,
Thank you.
the Finance Committee board members are Andrea Bramer, Leah Crowley, Dana Cole-Jones, Elizabeth Motzinger, and Alex Bohannon. So we do have a quorum, or we have 3 of us here. The first item is the salary update and salary schedules with Andrea Gillis, and also with Jevelyn Bonnery.
All right, I'm gonna pull this down so I can talk clearly. So, very, very excited to be here today to talk about salary schedules. And right now, we're gonna just go over our certified salaries, principal salaries, AP salaries, and subs. We wanna do subs now only because we wanna implement that January 1 for our subs, the sub increase. Everyone else will also be implemented January 1, but we'll bring those schedules to you in January because they don't get paid until the end of the month. We can get that in time. But want to talk to you today about certified salary schedules. Very excited about it because, like I said, there's significant increases in the budget for our certified staff. So this is kind of a regurgitation of the previous presentation I did a week ago, talking about the state pay. So there's going to be a step increase for all, plus 1.3%, for all teachers on the certified pay scale. The average increase, including the step, is 2.5%. This is just on their state-based pay. The range of the increase, including the step, is $650 to $2,680, or 1.3% to 5.4%. Psychologists, SLPs, audit, and audiologists shall also receive an additional $350 a month supplement to be included in their state base. School counselors receive an additional $100 per month supplement to be included in their state base. And for the purposes of us talking about certified support staff, I want to make sure I clarify who these people are. They are anybody who is in a non-teaching position but on the certified pay scale, including counselors, psychologists, social workers, audiologists, facilitators, speech pathologists, and media coordinators. Those are our certified support staff. Supplements. So the district received an additional $6.2 million increase in the Article 46 sales tax revenue for 21-22. As you remember, last year we got 11 million. So right now we have a total of 17 million in Article 46 revenue. I really want to thank the citizens of Forsyth County and our county commissioners for this, because this is going to make a significant impact on our local supplement and how we compare to other districts. So this funding will be used to increase local supplements for all teachers and certified support staff, as I said before. A beginning 10-month teacher on the Bachelor Schedule will receive $8,200 annually in local supplements if the board approves the salary schedule we have before you tonight. The total annual salary for a 10-month teacher on the Bachelor Schedule will be $43,660. Teacher and certified staff total salary increases will range from 6% to 20%, including the step. We will also receive another $2.8 million in funding to allocate as a supplement to teachers and certified staff. The criteria has not yet been determined by DPI yet, and we have no way of knowing how it's going to be allocated, but we will get these funds, and when we do, we'll be adjusting our salary tables and bringing that schedule back to you for approval once it's approved. So, like I said before, we got the Article 46 sales tax revenue. We use the additional 6.2 this year to address our early teachers, and I'll be showing you a schedule of our early teachers to get them paid the most. Our goal was to be the highest paid beginning teacher salary in the state, and we have, unless other people increase theirs, we will achieve that goal. Wow. I'm going to show you that slide in a minute. The 2.8 we will use to address, we will look at the schedule and use that to address our middle teachers and our veteran teachers. Once we get that $2.8 million, we'll allocate that. We'll use that to address them as well. So, the Bachelor Schedule, I just put up the first 15 years because that's the year that the state will give them the incremental $1,000 increase on their state pay. So if you look at this schedule, the first section is the prior year schedule, and the second section is the 21-22 schedule. So looking at that first increase over prior year by grade, that's showing you how much the Bachelor Schedule is going to go up from, year over year on the A00. Or the A01, or the A01, whichever one you're looking at. So it's starting at $44,000 minimum, they're going to get an increase on their pay. The increase over the prior year, including the step, for like a teacher going from an A0 to an A1, they're going to get a $5,100 increase, which is probably one of the biggest increases we've ever seen in this state. So here's a local supplement comparison. This is just on the Bachelor A00 annual supplement. So right now, Wake County, pending, if they don't have any more increases to their local supplement, their annual local supplement is $6,337. Charlotte is $6,276. Guilford is $6,100. Our proposed, if approved by this board, will be $8,200. And Cumberland is $2,618. I just put the top 5 districts in the state. Wow. So as you can see, we're significantly higher than our other top 5 districts. This is based on what they have on their website right now. Like I said, they could come back and say they want to increase their supplement later. But right now, and then Wake already increased theirs 1%. They did that back in November. So I included the 1% here already. So not pending any other increases from other LEAs will be the highest for beginning teachers. Now, I know there's some stuff that comes out by DPI every year that says what the average increase is. Now, our average will still be not as high because the average is based on all the supplements, and it's based on years of experience. So districts with more experienced teachers, theirs will be higher. But we're getting there.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, Kevin, can you pull up the teacher schedules? Before I start talking about principals, I'm going to put teacher schedules up so you can see what we're voting on. So as you can see, here's the teacher schedule. It's 17 pages. We have a Bachelor A schedule. Oops. Then we have the M schedule, which is for master's degree teachers. We have a advanced degree schedule. And then we have a doctorate schedule. And then also we have each of those schedules in addition with NIBITS pay. So if they also have the NIBIT certification, we have those schedules as well. So there's a NIBIT schedule for each level of education. And then we have new for this year, we have a guidance counselor schedule. As I mentioned before, the guidance counselors get an additional $100 per month, or $1,000 a year if they're 10 months, based on what, in their state base. So this is the guidance counselor. This is their advanced schedule for guidance counselors, the doctorate schedule for guidance counselors. And then they also have NIBIT schedules for guidance counselors as well, which will include their NIBIT's pay. And then we also have our psychologist, speech pathologist, and audiologist schedule. That is now going to be $350 per month above the teacher schedule because they got an increase on that.
Do you know why guidance counselors aren't included with psychologists, speech pathologists, and audiologists, given that they all are required to have master's degrees?
Not quite sure why the state did that. It could be because we have such a shortage of psychologists and people going into that field. I mean, we generally don't have a counselor shortage, but psychologists, audiologists, speech pathologists are our most critical, most hard to fill jobs, and especially for as it relates to EC.
So it might be more supply and demand than
yes, it's probably supply and demand because these jobs are critical for EC specifically, and they're hard to fill. Like right now, we have several contracts in place because we don't have people to fill the jobs. So I think the state's trying to address that with the $350 per month increase on those schedules. And then, like I said, we have the psychologist advanced degree schedule and then the psychologist doctorate schedule. So these are all the schedules we have for the certified teachers and certified support staff. All right, now I'll go back to the PowerPoint.
Ms. Gillis, before we move to the principals, so is this supplement, it's based on the revenue from, so it could change, right?
Well, hadn't really, well, we talked briefly about this to the county commissioners, but hopefully, once our revenue is stable, I mean, obviously, if it goes down, that means there's something going on with the economy. But we would, try to address and hold harmless, which, if we can, we would try to address and hold harmless. Our goal is not to reduce anybody's supplement. These are permanently in place unless, the economy takes a dive, and then obviously we'll have other issues we need to address as well. So we'll have to make hard, critical decisions at that point, but our plan is not to decrease these schedules at all.
Okay, thank you.
Because hopefully our economy will remain constant. But I'll be trying to save, if the economy does start, I'll be trying to save some fund balance in order to keep it going.
And I just want to thank our county commissioners for having the courage to put forth this sales tax, because most people do not like any new tax. But this one was overwhelmingly supported by the citizens of this county, and I just want to encourage everybody to keep shopping locally. And every purchase you make, whether it's a new pair of shoes or a car, whatever it is, just know that a percentage is going to our teachers.
Yes, and they deserve it. So now we're going to talk about the principal salary changes on their state pay. They got an increase of 2.5%. So for the first 6 months of the year, their salaries going to be based on the 2019-20 ADM. Their growth is going to be based on 3 years up to 2018-19. Due to COVID, they haven't really looked at any of the growth, so they're going to be they're going to be basing it on pre-COVID growth. And then for January through June, it's going to be based on the 2021 ADM. Also, growth is going to be based on growth pre-COVID. The local pay plan remains the same for principals, and it says see proposed attached school administrative policies for schedules. So Kevin, if you can pull the principal schedule up for me. So here's what the state pay plan is for principals. And then they have their base pay based on school size. Obviously, they get if they met growth, they get additional funds. If they exceeded growth, they get additional funds. And then their local pay is based on a percentage of their state pay. So elementary principals get 25% of their state pay. Middle school and non-traditional high schools get 30%, and traditional high schools get 52.5%. Then they have some additional add-on pay, which the add-on factors will be years of experience pay. They get a monthly add-on for that, and they also get advanced degree pay or doctorate pay and NIBIT's pay. Also, principals who have higher free and reduced lunch populations also get additional add-ons. So those remain the same from our previous salary schedules. So, assistant principals. So assistant principals' pay schedule is 19% above the new certified bachelor schedule. So they get an increase when teachers get an increase on their state pay because it's based on the teacher bachelor schedule. Based on the BOE vote back in June, we implemented new salary schedules for assistant principals, which I will show you. We're no longer paying the NIBITS add-on for certification for APs, but anyone currently holding a NIBIT certification is grandfathered in and will continue to receive it as long as they hold a certification. So no one's going to lose pay. It's just not going to be provided to anybody new. Could you pull up the AP schedule for me? So for APs, we have 3 separate schedules. We have 11-month and 12-month APs, so there'll be a schedule for 11-month and 12-month, and then we also, there's differentiated pay for elementary, middle, and high school principals. So as you can see here are the new schedules for them. APs will receive in their local pay from anywhere from a 3% to a 30% increase in their local pay, depending on whether you're on the schedule. I think the 3% is from anybody who's like a high school principal with 40 years, because it's based on like, they're not really getting an increase on their state side. So that's going to be their increase in their local pay. So they're going to definitely receive an increase on their local pay. APs will. We tried to keep it in line with what teachers were getting, but since they're not tied to the Article 46 revenue, we're giving them an increase as well. But it won't be as high as teachers. Okay.
Yeah, can you explain to me, is this just straight salary or is this salary plus benefits?
This is straight salary. Salary and local supplement. Benefits are not a part of what I'm presenting tonight. Benefits are just added on.
So where are we when we include the benefits, because what type benefits? I know health insurance.
Well, we have health insurance and we have dental insurance at no cost and life insurance at no cost to our employees.
Okay.
The health insurance, I think if you are a non-smoker, you pay $50 a month for non-smoking, just for the individual. Now, obviously, if you have a family and you have the family plan, you pay extra for that. The state only pays for the individual the individual employee's health insurance, less than $50 copay. We have, here in this district, we have free dental insurance for the individual. We have free life insurance for the individual. We also have, they're in the retirement system. So right now, like the retirement rate is going to go up to almost 23%. So, 6% of everyone's check goes towards their retirement out of their paycheck, and then the district matches 23%.
I wondered about the matching and the benefits, with the salary.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of looking at one main thing.
Right. Well, the salary is based on, it's kind of hard to put the benefits on here because it's based on the percentage of their salary. So, right now, we pay 23% retirement for an employee, but if that employee, depends on if they make, $30,000 or $60,000, it's going to be whatever that percentage is. So we really typically don't include benefits in here, but our benefits package is outlined on our website for employees to know. But we do pay 23%. I think the new rate is 23% for retirement that goes towards their state retirement. Right. And they pay 6, we pay 23.
Well, that helps me a whole lot. With that. Thank you so much.
Yes. All right, back to the presentation.
Hi, Andrew Bramer. I have questions.
Okay, hi.
Sorry. I was late logging in, so I don't want to interrupt. One of the things I just want to point out is that, we are doing the step change for DPI, and we're using local dollars for a bonus and ESSER dollars for a bonus. But one of the complaints I have heard is that it is taxable at a bonus rate, and it is not available for retirement to go into their 403Bs. And my concern, it's just a slight concern. I want to think, if there's any possible way around it, is any way we could divide the money out into an actual step increase, because when you pay them a one-time bump, it's really nice and it's really positive, and it gives them some money to cover some immediate expenses. But when you actually increase their step, it's longer lasting over the rest of their career, so that they continue to get money and we continue to appreciate them for the entire length of their career, not just for this one incident. So that's just my request, is can we look at that possibility?
Well, the bonus is a one-time payment. DPI, for the ones that DPI is paying, they specifically said not retirement eligible. The ones
that's not our control. I'm talking about like local dollars that are in our control.
Well, when we add retirement to it, it increases the cost for us, and it increases our buying power. So when we have to add that 23% retirement rate in there. So when we do a bonus, if we have a pot of money to pay a bonus, if we're paying retirement, it reduces how much we can pay out, the actual payout amount, because we have to put the retirement in there. Teachers are getting a step increase. Everybody's getting an increase in their pay this year.
Right.
And
they're getting an average of 2.5%, correct? And
that's on their state pay, yes.
Right. So, but didn't we just have an announcement on and I'm not sure the exact number. I need to go back and look and get the exact number. But that the actual cost of living went up by 7%, which means they'd still be taking a 4.5% pay cut this year.
No.
So
No, the 2.5
inflation rate. What's the inflation rate this year as well as cost of living? Because you have to take that into account. If they're not meeting it, then we're still doing them a disservice.
Kevin, can you pull up the teacher salary schedule for me again? I'm sorry, the PowerPoint for me again. I'm going to go back to the slide that shows the teacher increase, including the step and the local supplement. So if you look at this salary schedule here, including the step, a beginning teacher is getting a $5,000 increase this year. That is more than 10%. Right. So the 2.5 was just on their state pay. We're on the local supplement side, we're giving them a larger increase, and they're going to get a $5,000 increase on their annual salary from step to step.
Forward.
Huh?
Continue forward, but is that going to cover the whole 7% of this is 1 year? Remember, we have 3 years. We have 3%, 7% cumulative. So we're talking major loss of income. And I know you're doing the very best you can, and I recognize that, and I appreciate it. I absolutely love the work you do. I'm just trying to think ahead because inflation is going up. Like today, I went to the gas pump. It was $4 a gallon. And if they're saying it's going to get worse, so the last thing I want to do is to saddle teachers with a lesser salary when they come home.
So I don't have a.
And that's not necessarily our solution. I'm just trying to think of, is there any creative way we can like cut maybe from some programs, and remember that our goal is to get a sound education, which is, reading, writing, arithmetic. I mean, basically, your social studies, your sciences, your maths, your Englishes, and we need to make sure that we're getting the sound education as our priority. And if that's the case, then teachers are the key.
And I agree. I'm going to go to the prior slide because I don't really know when you jumped on, but our local supplement's going to be $8,200.
Which is great.
Which is great, which is going to be probably the beginning teacher salary is going to be the highest in the state for our beginning teachers, if no one else raises their supplement. So, like I said before, with the step increase, a beginning teacher who is currently at A00 right now is making $39,600 a month, a year. This year, the increase will be, they will make $43,660. So that's a $5,100 increase. And everybody's going to get at least that much of an increase this year, which is more than 10%.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
I think that's a great start. But, compared to some of the other counties in the United States, and especially those that are getting their recruiting for out of country, we have got to stay on the ball game because we have far too many openings. So that's just my only point is that I want to find ways to be creative thinkers and make sure we keep our teachers and our staff happy. Not just teachers, but also classified staff happy so that we're keeping the retention high.
So, Andrea, have we looked at, I'm thinking about last week's presentation and what Ms. Bonner-Reed brought up. Have we looked at doing anything for math, science, and I believe foreign language teachers was another one, and EC teachers?
We are looking into some potential recruiting bonuses for those people using our ESSER funds. We're working with our federal programs people now to try to come up with some criteria and try to get that in our ESSER budget.
Okay.
Yes, and we've had, and we would maintain the philosophy of looking at recruitment bonuses, but retention as well. That is
Right.
critical. So whatever we would want to do to draw people to our district, we want to do as much to keep people here.
Do any
Keeping
districts do a
school system
specific
afloat is
supplement?
very, very hard. I know the buildings are hard, the upkeep is hard, the janitorial service is hard, the food is hard. You start adding all these pieces of the pile together, it really does take creative thinking, and I thank you very much. And I see that, it's hard for me to see you guys, so I see that Leah Crowley has got her hand up, so I'm gonna go to Board Member Crowley.
Okay, thank you.
Did you?
Sorry. So, do any districts, is there a precedence for this, for districts to do an additional supplement for those harder to fill positions, those subject areas of EC, foreign language, math, and science?
I do know that Guilford, I think, has a differentiated schedule for EC teachers, I believe. But this is a salary schedule. We were looking into more of like bonuses, because right now, we haven't differentiated our schedule yet. But right now, we're looking into the recruitment and retention bonuses for those hard to fill areas.
But
And we have heard, we've heard of others, I don't want to name the districts, because, for the reason. But we've heard of others that have been offering opportunities for specific content areas. Yes.
But to Board Member Crowley's point, I think historically, though, even separate and apart from a pandemic, there historically have been teaching areas that are a little bit harder to fill than others. And so maybe just as we're looking holistically at it, maybe we can explore the option for bonuses, but also if it's difficult to get math teachers, and it's been that way for a long time, as well as with EC and science, maybe we ought to make sort of a change in the schedule just so we can, account for that. But I mean,
Not it's a one-time thing, but more of an ongoing thing until it reaches a level where we're filling the positions,
Right.
until we're.
And
I would like to start with the one-time thing, though, to get it out there, and we know we have extra funding. We can tie it to ESSER, we can tie it to scores and everything. But that is something more long-term we can look into in terms of a different schedule and come back to you with consideration.
And also, we would have to try to get some funding for that as well.
Yeah. So I also had one other question. So, Ms. Gillis, you mentioned earlier about the 23% for retirees. Is that comprised of 6% from the employee itself and then 17% from us? Or
No, 23 is just what the district pays for. This is the retirement system for all of our employees who are full-time with benefits. They are eligible to get into the retirement system. So if you're full-time, it's mandatory, and 6% of your check, of the employee checks, goes toward retirement, and then 23% is paid by the district.
Okay. And the last thing I'll say is I'm just so happy and thankful to you and to Jevelyn and to just everyone for the work that you've put in over the past however long since you've been here to try to make this work and to get all this together. I think that I remember the initial conversations about the tax, and when Dr. Hairston was here and going around and trying to get people to vote for it, and to see over the past couple of years it kind of come to fruition is extremely exciting. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We actually will be celebrating our 2-year anniversary Thursday.
That's
Jevelyn,
good.
Nicolette, and myself all started the same day on December 16th, 2019.
Well, good. And one other thing I want to say, I also noticed the retention, you were speaking of retaining those teachers, and looking at the folks who are leaving us now, it seemed like we were high in all three of those areas, in math, science, and in ESL, just looking at the report this time.
Yes.
So, that I think the retention is also very important for us to look at, because, I guess I'm old enough to say, but the younger generation it looks at what, they don't look long-term, like we do have an excellent retirement system. You do get excellent benefits when you work for the school system, or for the state in some areas, but I don't know, retention I think is also as important for those folks as well. for us to look at.
Well, I'm hoping that the Article 46 revenue and the increase in the local supplement will also help with that issue as well. I mean, it's across the board for all teachers. So all teachers are going to get a significant increase in their local supplement. So we're hoping that that will also help attract, you know, our early teachers specifically so they can come here and then stay here.
Yeah, and thank you for what you're doing. The retention, you know, just long-term, that's another thing for us to look at and put out there to the county commissioners and folks like that and to the community to retain those good folks that we do
Board
hook
Member
in.
Woodbury, could you have a point?
I do. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing me. So 2 points that I have. One, I think the community, this board definitely needs to, I think, recognize that, you know, AAA leadership is creating an environment where we can really do what we're doing right now with the plan that's being presented to us. So I hope that, you know, once the superintendent and staff come back to talk to us as a board and to the community about making sure we can sustain AAA leadership in order for us to have these kinds of plans, that, you know, we're considerate of also making sure that, you know, they are compensated according to the capacity that they're delivering at this point. I think that this work is at a very, very, very high level. And in order to sustain this level of work, you know, we have to be competitive in the market, right? So anybody would want them to come to their district and really be able to figure out a lot of these pieces. So I appreciate the work, and that's words, but as a board member, I also think that you should be compensated for your level of leadership that's competitive with the other school districts across the state. That's my piece with that. And then the second one is around the teachers or educators in our district that are at the latter part of this salary scale. So the more years you have, it seems like there's less money being, so are we?
We are addressing that with our local supplement as well. Kevin, if you can put up the teacher salary schedule for me again, please. So I'm going to go to the bachelor schedule so you can see. So like when you look at the schedule, the state base pay is that first column. When they get to year 15, they stay at that state base pay for 10 years because the state does not increase the pay. And then when they get to year 25, they get a little bump, and then they stay there until they retire. Like that's their state base pay. On the local supplement side, which is I scrolled up too many times, which is this column right here, we've tried to address that and give some kind of differentiation for our higher paid people. Like I mentioned earlier, when we get the $2.8 million from the state, that's also going to be used to address supplements, which we really don't have any guidance on it yet. Our goal is to try to address those teachers as well with that money. But right now, you know, we were trying to make sure we want to get people in the door, so we want to make sure our early teachers get some good pay increases. But everybody is getting an increase because we, you know, like if you look at this supplement, this Article 46 supplement, this column last year was $200 across the board for everybody. So they get per month. So so like the A00 is getting a $360 a month increase on the Article 46, and then so the higher teachers are getting $390 a month. So everybody's getting an increase. It's just we kind of allocated more of the resources towards the early year teachers, and we try to make the salary differentiated so that we could address the fact that, you know, for 10 years, from year 15 through 24, they don't get a state raise, and from year 25 on, they don't get a state raise. So I would love for the state to adjust this schedule, and so that it would every year they get an increase. Because if you look at years 1 through 14, they get an increase. They get like at least $1,000 increase.
Is there a way our board could do a resolution to ask for that from the state?
I mean, you can probably join every other district in the county in doing that, because I mean I think that's a complaint from most districts that they go that many years without a raise, without a state raise. So and they went to these bands a while ago, and they stayed there. I don't know why they have these band areas. I think we need to implore the state that they need to come up with a differentiated salary schedule for teachers. And I think the state salary schedule stops at 25, so 25 is where it stops.
I think, and, you know, I'm saying this, and I'm certainly not
For
a state-type person, but I think now that people have got to get paid. There are very, very few people out there that are not getting the monies that they should get. And our teachers are our most important people for our kids. So we got to be on a level where we're paying and people aren't walking away across the line to some other place. We got to pay. And whatever we got to do to make a difference, we need to be doing that.
Well, I hope that this new salary schedule will help us get there.
I agree, and I thank you.
All right, back to the presentation.
We're running out of time. I see on our schedule we're running out of time. Does anybody else have any last minute questions?
I still have a few more slides to go through.
Okay, so I'm not
All
trying to
right.
cut you off. I'm trying to keep on schedule and it's hard to see.
Okay. So on the AP schedule, did I do the AP schedule already? Yes, I did. Okay, substitutes. So we're proposing to increase the substitute pay as follows, and we want to get this approved now just because, you know, our APs now work for our outside vendor, and we want to make sure that beginning January 1, they get this increase. But everybody's going to get the increase effective January 1. Let me reiterate that. All employees, including classified, will get an increase effective January 1, but they won't get paid theirs until the end of the month. But the vendor, they get paid every week, so I want to make sure that this gets approved first. So we're proposing to increase the substitute pay as follows. Non-licensed daily sub rate would increase to $120 from $80 a day. The licensed daily sub rate would increase to $145 a day from $103 a day. The non-licensed long-term or building-based sub daily rate will increase to $155 from $117.27 a day. And the long-term sub pay rate, if working in the licensed area with a valid license, will be their daily state rate based on years of experience. That's not a change from the prior year. We're going to continue doing that. The effective date for the proposed increase will be January 1, 2022, and there will be no retroactive pay for substitutes. So these pay rates go into effect January 1 for substitutes.
Can I ask, so right now in the district, all substitutes go through ESS, right?
Instructional, yes.
Yes, the instructional substitutes, yes.
Okay. And what would be the difference between instructional?
We have substitutes working in a lot of different areas.
Just,
Bus
you're just
drivers,
saying if there was a-
clerical, and we
Okay.
still, they're still employees with us, yes.
Okay, and so the increase that we're doing for the substitutes in the classroom and that pay increase, are we doing anything for those, how do we address those
Yes,
others who
Yeah,
are?
we actually have a schedule.
Yeah, we have a schedule for that. Kevin, could you pull that schedule up for me,
Okay.
please? So the first section is what I just went over on the slide. Then we have the classified sub rates. These are for any subs who sub for us, be it clerical, child nutrition, bus drivers, you know, whatnot. So we have their daily and hourly sub pay rates listed there. Starting, you know, we go into the minimum 13, so we increased everybody 2.5% on every step. So we are increasing that pay as well. And also, we have our sub duty-free, our duty-free, and then our housekeeper subs and our Magnet Express people also gonna get the $13 an hour. So like I said, you know, as you know, in the budget this year, $13 an hour minimum was part of the state law. $15 is in the biennial budget, and I guess we'll know pending funding that it will happen for them, the $15 will be in effect next year.
I think one of the questions I'm thinking in my mind, and maybe this is not, it's good, but if I'm a TA and I'm subbing in a class all day, my pay rate may not be that of ESS.
Yeah, well, yes, go back to the schedule again,
Are we
Kevin.
going?
It's higher.
Is it higher?
Yeah.
Okay, so our own folks.
Yeah, that
are
was
gonna
already
be
in our
paid.
policy.
Okay.
Let me scroll up.
We call it subbing up.
Yes,
So-
teacher assistant subbing up would get the A00 rate based on the $35.46 per month or $163.66 per day.
Okay.
So TA subbing up they get the difference between their regular pay and the
And then
one,
that-
yeah,
okay.
so they get that much per day when they sub up. So
I
they,
thought that we covered that, but then
Yeah.
there's a lot of the schedule, so let's make
yes,
sure.
and that's always been our policy for TAs.
Okay.
All right, back to the presentation.
Any further questions?
I have a couple more slides. I just want to go through the bonuses one more time. I think that's the last salary schedule. The pay dates. So all the pay dates, all pay changes for teachers, certified principals, support staff, APs, classified central office, and subs will be effective January 1. And they do not apply to persons separated from service prior to December 31, 2020. So if you left the district, the increase is not, you don't get the increase because you're gone. All 10, 11-month certified staff, principals, APs, and 12-month employees will see their new pay rates in their January paychecks. All hourly and 10-month classified employees will see their new pay rates in their February paychecks for January work. So theirs is just because there's a lag in their pay. So they will get the pay increase effective January 1 as well, except it will be in their February paychecks. A retroactive salary bonus for time worked from July through December will be calculated for those employed as of December 31st, 2021, and paid out in a lump sum bonus by March 31st, 2022. So that's a retroactive bonus. So everybody who's obviously a permanent employee will get the retro pay. Substitutes are not eligible for retroactive salary bonus. And the retroactive salary bonus is subject to retirement. So they're calling it a retroactive salary bonus, but it's really retro pay. But the way we're paying it, because we're paying it in another fiscal year, and the retirement rate change, they're calling it a bonus. But it's really everybody, what they should have gotten from July through December is going to be paid in a one lump sum payment that will be subject to retirement. So they will get the retro pay. So I want to just quickly go over the bonuses. The holiday bonus of $700 for teachers and certified staff that are paid on the certified pay schedule, and a $500 bonus for all other employees. This bonus will be paid out on the 16th. They have to be employed as of December 1st. These bonuses for all permanent employees and retirees filling a permanent role or working consistently for the school district. So retirees are included in this bonus. Now the difference between the 700 and 500 is that, as you remember, the 700 was funded out of Article 46 true-up funds that we got from the county this year, one-time funds that would have been in our budget last year, but they were not sure of the revenue, so they gave us an estimate of $11 million. But then they gave us a true-up this year. So that's the reason why we teachers got 700, because that money was earmarked specifically for them.
And so basically, anyone who's paid off of the teacher schedule receives the 700.
Right.
And so because I think I've heard a couple of APs say, I'm not getting that. Well, that's because they're not paid off.
Right. Right. Because that money was funded with Article 46 revenue that was specifically earmarked for teachers and certified support staff. Now, we do have licensed employees that still have a license, but they may be on the admin pay schedule now because they're central office. Those people got $500. And so the board, decided to appropriate fund balance to do the $500 bonus for everyone else, because we got the money from the county for that, but we said we're going to appropriate fund balance for the $500. The state fiscal recovery bonus of $1,000 to be paid to all full-time and permanent employees as of December 1st will be paid out December 20th. Now, my last presentation, I mentioned that we were getting $1,000 plus an additional $500 if you make less than $75,000. This will be paid by the state, and it's for all permanent, full, and part-time employees, prorated for part-time, obviously. But we decided, because we wanted to, give staff something before Christmas, before the holidays, we would go ahead and pay the $1,000 now, because that wasn't that hard to calculate, because everyone gets $1,000 prorated if they're, based on their percentage employed. We're going to pay out the $500 to anyone who makes $75,000 or less in January. So that's because we wanted to give something before the holidays in addition. Plus, we heard other districts are trying to do it too, so we're trying to keep up. So, like I said, the $500 bonus for employees making $75,000 or less will be paid out in January. Then there's an $1,800 bonus that's going to be paid to principals in January. The principals that are employed as of January 1. There'll be other state bonuses to be paid out. People have been hearing about a training bonus. And also, there's probably going to be AP, IB, and CTE bonuses. Those are, we're waiting on guidance from the state on that. They have to give us the list of people who get those bonuses. In addition, we're going to be bringing to you next month probably a $1,500 bonus for approval. We're trying to amend our ESSER budget to pay another bonus out to be paid out in February for all of our employees. And then we already approved the spring bonus it's the same as that holiday bonus with the same funding source. We're going to pay that out in May. So All bonuses will be taxed at the bonus rate, and are not retirement eligible. Employees on leave will receive bonuses when they return to work. Now, I know people are, want to know like why it's taxed at the bonus rate. It's taxed at the bonus rate because IRS, is like recommends you do it at bonus rate because, and then also because when we pay it, if we're not paying it as part of their regular paycheck, we have no choice but to do it at the bonus rate because the way our system is, we can't go in and look and see, oh, you have 5, withholdings, so you pay less taxes than somebody else. So that's why we do a flat across the board for everyone. Now, some people may see less in their paychecks because if you have garnishments that are from either the state or federal or child support or whatever, those garnishments still have to come out of your bonus check as well. So mostly everyone will receive the same amount of money because of the flat tax. So the next steps are approval of the new teacher, certified support staff, principal, assistant principal, and sub-pay schedules tonight. We will bring the new classified and admin salary schedules to the board on January 11th for approval. And then we are in the process of calculating the new pay rates for all classified employees and will send out a more detailed salary information in the coming weeks. So with that, we're going to $13 an hour minimum, but we have to address compression in that, and our comp department is working very hard to try to get those salary schedules done, and then also, apply. Once we get the salary schedules done, then we have to actually apply it to each individual person's salary. So that takes a long time to get that done. So we will be bringing that to you in January, however, so people will see their new pay rates in their January checks, or if they're, like I said, the hourly and 10-month classified, will see it in the February checks for January work. Are there any more questions? I know I went over. Sorry. It's a lot, though.
I don't have any. Thank you so much for everything you do. We really do appreciate all the effort you put forth in getting this done and getting it done quickly.
Thank you. It's just a joint effort between HR and myself. We work very closely together and couldn't do it without each other.
I just want to really acknowledge our staff. I know we're up here telling everything, but our staff has worked so hard on this, particularly when you see all these bonuses or incentives for covering a class. That's a lot of work for payroll, a lot in finance department. And then these comp schedules and figuring out the comp sometimes, that's our comp team, which is a team of 2, which is very rare for a district. And I just want to thank you all for allowing that to happen. It was some of the additions we made over the course of the last 2 years, and I think it's paying off by having that internal, not having a consultant doing that, but having an internal team that's supporting that. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We have one action item. The board members are myself, Leah Crowley, Dana Cottle-Jones, Elizabeth Motzinger, and Alex Bohannon. Just as a note, I will have to recuse myself from this vote because as part of the all hands on deck getting science and math teachers in, I will be subbing. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. But Andy, you don't get paid to sub, so I'm subbing too, but I'm not recusing myself because you don't get compensated if you're a board member.
I do get compensated if I go through ESS because I'm going to be ESS because I'm a long-term sub and they need it for the rest of the year. So I really cannot vote on this issue, I don't think. Leon, can you clarify?
Yeah. It's not a district job.
I can't hear Dion. Can you guys let me know what she's saying?
Do we have a motion and a second?
I think we have a motion and a second.
Proceed. Dion said proceed.
Well, do I need to recuse or can I vote?
No, you don't need to recuse.
No, you don't.
Thank you. Okay. Just trying to follow the rules. Okay, all in favor? Oh, no, do we have any discussions, last minute discussions? All right, all in favor? Aye. It passes. Thank you. That ends the curriculum committee.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. May I have a motion to go into closed session to discuss a personnel matter?
Motion to go into close?
Thank you. Motion from Board Member Crowley and seconded from Board Member Lyda Calvert Hayes. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on your school channel, Cable 2.
The North Pole to spend